What's up, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. As you guys read in the title of this video, I just wanted to do a quick little trading update and pretty much just go over the couple of stocks and ETFs that I traded this entire week. So the last time I updated you guys on the trades that I was making, I was talking about Micron, right, and DSLV. These are the two trades that I actually started taking positions in earlier this week, but the one that I'm going to be specifically talking about in this video is DSLV because that one I got about 8% profit today. And I just wanted to cover this particular trade with you guys and tell you what I did with this trade. So for those of you guys that do recall, I was actually in DSLV earlier this week with an average position of $23. And what I ended up doing, guys, because if you guys were paying attention to DSLV, it actually went way below $23, and I actually cut my losses at about 3% loss with this particular ETF, right? And then I waited to re-enter into the ETF as it found a bottom and as it found a new support level, which was at about $21. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So I was in at about $23. I took that 3% hit, and then I waited for it to consolidate at this next support level that we see here, and how this correlates over to the silver futures. And for those of you guys that don't know, DSLV is an inverse ETF, and it trades based upon the silver futures /SI. We're going to look at those right now very quickly. And as you know, silver futures were reaching this particular resistance level at 1735. And before I talk about that, silver futures were on an uptrending pattern, right? They were on a nice uptrending pattern. And what I did notice about the silver futures as they broke past this first resistance level here at about 1683, and that's where I originally did get into DSLV at about $23. And we saw here, guys, as it kept pushing past this resistance level, we saw that it was trading above the EMA line, meaning that silver futures were on an uptrending pattern. And the next resistance level that we see here from this particular point at 1683 was at $17.35. And I was waiting to see if the silver futures were going to consolidate at that particular price point and, fall down in price from there. And that's exactly what they did. So yesterday I was waiting to get into DSLV, keeping in mind that the silver futures were getting to that next resistance level at 1735. And as it started to get to 1735 and struggle to get past there and, start to consolidate and break down below the EMA line, that is when I took a position in DSLV, and that was yesterday. And if we look back over to DSLV to see exactly where I got in and to see why I got in and how much money I did make, and I'll post a screenshot here from my Instagram story because I do post all my profits on Instagram. And for those of you guys that want to follow me on Instagram, the link is down below. @StriveSmart is my username, so give me a follow there if you guys want. So we saw here, guys, as the silver futures were at 1735, that particular resistance level, we see DSLV was at about $21 to $21.50, and I actually got in at $21.50. If we look a little bit closer here to the 5-day, 5-minute chart, we saw all day yesterday some nice consolidation right here, and that gave me a validation to take an initial position in DSLV at $21.50, right? And we saw this huge shoot up pre-market hours, and it opened up at about, it opened up at about $22.39, and that gave me an even bigger confirmation that silver futures were starting to reverse downwards, and I actually added even more to my DSLV position here, right, once market opened. And from there, guys, DSLV was able to have an insane day today, close to 10%, and I actually took my profits at about $23.75, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about why I took my profits there. And if we look over to the silver futures, guys, to show you exactly why I ended up taking profits where I did take profits, because I was actually watching silver futures and DSLV pretty much all day today. Every like 30 minutes to an hour, I was checking the price to know and understand where I wanted to exit this particular position, right? Because I did have price targets at about $23.50 to $24, but I wasn't exactly sure where silver futures were going to bottom out, because I did not want to hold this particular position over the weekend because I'm already up 10%. So I was looking for a nice exit point for DSLV. And where I saw that, right, if we look over to the 1-day, 1-minute chart, we see that, okay, the drop from DSLV was huge today, right, from 1725 all the way down to 1646. And what we can see here, guys, is that the price of DSLV, the price of the silver futures, we're getting rejected by the EMA line, right? We don't see it going past the EMA line pretty much, right? And it was getting rejected by the 50-day SMA line as well. And what that means is that that is acting as a resistance level for the stock's price, which means that it's continuously downtrending in price. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And as it found its bottom here, right, it broke a little bit above the EMA line. It broke a little bit above the 50-day SMA line. And that's when my antennas went up and I was like, okay, this might be a good time to take my profits in DSLV. And I actually took my profits when the silver futures were at about $16.55, because that is where it broke past the 180-day SMA line. And as we see from where I took my profits when this was at $16.55, it has actually gone up to $16.60, and DSLV is at about, what is it at about now? $23.60, I believe, if we go back and take a look at DSLV, $23.66. It's all about using the EMA line and the SMA line in order to give yourself a better understanding on where the stock price is actually moving, and it actually gives you a better understanding on where to sell and where to buy. So that's why we use all these different indicators, because they just let you understand, where the price is moving. So as it broke above here, that just gave me the signal that, okay, this stock or this ETF, or the silver futures rather, could be reversing here, guys. So why would I want to take that risk and continue to hold, as all these technicals and indicators are showing that, okay, now silver futures are not trading below the EMA line anymore. Now they're actually riding the EMA line, and the EMA line is actually acting as a support level, which means that the silver futures could be reversing here and looking to shoot back up. So that is a very good indication in my eyes to take profits, and that's exactly what I did, and that's what I recommend you guys to do. If you do have some extra time throughout the day, take some time and just watch the charts and understand, how these prices move and where to sell and where to buy based upon these different indicators. So that's what I was doing pretty much with silver futures. I made $200 on DSLV today, and I'll post another screenshot here of my profits of DSLV. I made $200 today, and again, I post all my profits on Instagram, so if you guys want to see how much money I'm making in the stock market, the link is down below. You guys can give me a follow there on Instagram. So that was the #1 trade that I made this week on DSLV. So now looking over to some other trades that I made this week, MU is one that I took a position in on, I believe maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. My average position on Micron is at about $60.50, and I'm currently down about 3 to 4% on Micron, and I'm still holding this particular stock because I do see long-term growth and long-term value in Micron. And the tech stocks this past week have taken hits, guys. We saw Apple. If we look over here to Apple, which is obviously probably the biggest tech stock in the stock market right now, we saw it took a nice big hit today and earlier this week too, I believe. Let's look over to the 5-day, 5-minute chart. Yeah, it topped off at about 192, and we saw, it's not too much, right? It's not too much. It's about 2 to 3% drop, but that affects the tech sector and that affects tech stocks, right? And that, in my personal opinion, is what dragged down Micron as well. And a bunch of stocks the past couple of days have been going down in price. The markets, guys, they've been going a little bit down. And, that's not scary to me. That's not scaring me too much because I do still see long-term potential with Micron, especially with the PE ratio it has right now at about like 7 or 8. And that's ridiculous because the average PE ratios right now are at about 25 or something like that if we're looking at the S&P 500 or the Dow 30. So that is very good in terms of PE ratio with Micron. So I'm treating this more as a long-term swing trade. Like I said, guys, I'm in at about $60.50. And if it does go down more in price, hey, I might add more to my position in Micron. But for now, I'm not selling Micron. And if we look a little bit closer here to the 20-day chart, we do see it bounced on this particular support level today at $57.50. If we draw this out today, right? This particular support at $57.50, it bounced here once, right? Bounced here twice, and then it hit that price point today. And what did it do? It bounced. So that just confirms that support level at $57.50. And since it did bounce there, guys, that gives me more confirmation, that Micron is just consolidating right now. It's just consolidating, and I'm just going to be looking for another entry point in Micron, and I'm not going to be cutting my losses. I'm just going to be holding this one as a long-term swing trade. So that is what we're doing with Micron, and I did take another position in AT&T, but we see here, guys, that AT&T It bottomed off at about $32, which is that previous support level we see here, and I added more into my position in AT&T yesterday, and I am actively invested in AT&T. I took an initial position about 1 month ago, right? And this pretty much just opened up as another buying opportunity, in my opinion, for AT&T, as it is a very good dividend investment, right? Very good for long-term wealth and building long-term wealth with that 6% dividend, and they've been increasing their dividend for 34 years. So this big dip from $35 down to $32, it was just more of a buying opportunity, in my personal opinion, as a long-term believer of AT&T and as a long-term shareholder. And that's what I plan on doing with AT&T, is just holding onto the shares long-term, compounding my interest, compounding my growth with this particular stock. So that's what I did with AT&T. Pepsi is another one that I was trading this week. I actually added more into my position in Pepsi. I got in initially at about $100, and I was treating this one as a longer term investment as well, right? I got in at about $100, and I did shout this one out about last week in my 3 stocks that are trending up video. It was at about like $102 when I was shouting it out, because we do see, it was consolidating very nicely at that level of $100, and that's actually where I initially took my position in Pepsi. And from there, it's been able to continue this uptrend pattern as it's trading above the EMA line, as it's trading above the 50-day SMA line, and as it broke above the 180-day SMA line. These are all very good signs that, Pepsi is uptrending, and that, I'm going to be continuing to add money as Pepsi keeps going up in price. So that is what I'm doing right now, guys, in terms of trading in the stock market. Pepsi, AT&T, right? Micron, and DSLV are the 4 trades that I made this week, right? And these are all, for the most part, large cap companies that have a good future, long-term growth, long-term value. And that is what I like to focus on when I trade and invest in the stock market. So for those of you guys that enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, the link is down below in my description. @StriveSmart is my username. Make sure to do your own research when it comes down to investing and trading in the stock market. You do not want to buy and sell stocks solely off of my opinion, because that is not how you're going to become a self-sufficient trader in the stock market. So again, guys, hopefully everybody out there is crushing their goals, killing their dreams. Let's make some money today. Peace.